Given the urgent need for the economy to recover post-COVID, do you think that public sentiment around the GST has changed or evolved? I mean, might it be viewed as a necessary step for us?
I think there are quite a few people who do see it that way. And I think that there's a need for revenue. And as I've pointed out, that there is a whole body of literature and experience about the importance of GST and consumption taxes. The question really is in the details and the implementation. I mean, ironically, one of the problems is that it's seen as, us versus them. I support GST and I oppose GST. That actually prevents people to have a kind of more constructive discussion about where can the sources of revenue come from, and also what sources of expenditure can be tied into that in order to make governance more stronger and make it better for all Malaysians, not just one sector or group of Malaysians.
Some arguments do make the point that the best time to implement GST is when inflation is stable and employment rates are high. What are your thoughts on this?
The thing is about tax reform, it's a very strange thing, The longer you delay, the more expensive it gets over time. So you need a lot of political will and the financial mass to get things going the moment you delay it. So whether or not it's a good time, it's never going to be one. Whether the government were to introduce it today, tomorrow, or in the past, is immaterial to me because, again, it's never about the timing. It's about why you want to introduce it in the first place. Revenue collection should be growing alongside a growing economy. We are getting older. We need more expenditure as our economic pie grows. We need a sustainable form of revenue generation. And that's what it's all about. Whether now is a good time, again, it's all about political will. It's never economics now.
I want to be clear. I'm in favor of reintroducing GST as a part of a more comprehensive tax reform. I'm in favor of better taxes, not more taxes. I think that GST reintroduction should be accompanied by a reduction in income tax so that the burden on individuals is proportionated, is not increasing, and at the same time, better enforcement for the collection of the existing taxes. My main concern is actually not simply to replenish the federal coffers, but to have a tax system that nudge in favor of saving. So a consumption tax can help supporting a saving-oriented mentality, so shifting our growth model and make it more stable and oriented towards saving, because I believe that savings are the necessary pillar to build and to generate investments. I think that if we are going to reintroduce GST, we should probably make it progressive by dividing goods into several categories and having exemptions, so zero rate GST for essential goods to avoid burden the lowest segments of the population, and having, let's say, 3, 6, and 10% for different categories of goods, going from the most essentials to the most luxury goods. I think, that government collection of money benefit the people if the money are spent in a certain way. So it doesn't really matter if you collect it with a certain tax or with another one. The real difference is how you spend the money. In fact, at this regard, I'm in favor of a higher level of delocalization in the collection of fiscal revenues, so giving more power at the single states rather than the federal governments, because I think the more we go closer to the citizens, the more we are able to implement plans that are closer to the actual needs.